I went to get my biopsy, and it was pretty big. And went to the surgeon. And before I went to the surgeon, I researched my options, and I realized that I can either get one removed, get both removed, or just have a lumpectomy, which would just take the lump out of the left breast.
Okay.
So I was talking to one of my friends. I'm not going to say her name because I don't know if she wants me to say her name. But she was my friend since grammar school, right through high school. Ended up being my supervisor in school, in my job. She was my special education supervisor. She would actually come in and observe me.
I didn't realize
that. So anyway, so we remained very good friends, and then she became my boss. So it was funny. So anyway, she's a year younger than me. She said to me, she goes, I can't tell you what to do, but I would get them both removed. And explained her reasoning behind it. And I said, you know what? I'm doing it. That's what I'm going to do. Okay? So I went in, and my brother came with me and my sister-in-law, the one that I took driving. And I always somehow make something serious into something funny. I don't know. It just happens. Okay? But I had in my head, I didn't want anything except to take the both off. I was 57 years old at the time, and I'm like, what about? I'm done. I used them. They're done. Bergen County saw them. We're done. I don't need them anymore. All right. So, so I went in, and this very serious professional doctor came in and was about to give me my options. Now, there was my brother and my sister-in-law. And my sister-in-law is she's like the president of my fan club. Like, she gets such a kick out of me, all right? So I love to make her cackle the same I love to make you cackle. She's got similar cackle to you. That laugh is just great.
Her laugh is the best.
Yeah. Right? So anyway, I'm sitting on the top bench thing there, and my sister-in-law, my brother are here, and this very serious doctor and the nurse. And I said, doctor, stop right there. I said, I already decided. Just take my tits.
Oh my God.
Well, my sister-in-law was beside herself, okay? Holding in the loudest cackle you could possibly think of, okay? In this very serious conversation, here I am in the middle of everything.
Oh my God.
Take my tits. And that was my decision, to take my titties. So I went in for the surgery, and it was a stage 1 when I got diagnosed. And when he went in, he realized that it had already traveled to the second breast. So when I went to I went to the oncologist after that, and he told me and my mother, because my mother was telling me she didn't want me to get my breasts removed. My mother had a lumpectomy. She had something similar. Hers was stage 0. Mine was stage 1 because mine was leaking from the duct. Okay, hers did not leak. Yeah. So she was 70 also when she had hers, so hers was a little easier. So, when you have a mother and your daughter, you don't want them to lose their breath.
Absolutely.
I get that, But the doctor said to me, as my mother's sitting there, he said, you saved your life by removing both breasts. He goes, if you didn't remove the second breast, we would be sitting here having a completely different conversation. And it would not have been good. It would have been all over. It would have been spread all over right now. And this conversation would not have been good. Okay? So I pretty much saved my life by removing my breast. And I thank my friend for that, because she really made me realize
I didn't realize you spoke
to
her about it. I did not know that.
Yeah. She saved my life. That's it. I always say that to her.
Yeah.
You saved my life. Yeah, you saved my life. And, my mother grabbed my arm, and she's like, and I kept trying to convince her not to do it. I said, Ma, I don't with my gut. You got to go with your gut in life sometimes. You just have to. And it saved my life. But I had to go through chemo. I had to go through months of chemo, and I lost my hair. But you know what? I stayed, and then I was HER2 positive, which is another aspect of the breast cancer. But, then I ended up with these, implant things, temporary things.
Right,
expanders, I think they call them. And they would insert saline to expand them, to stretch the skin out. So when you get the surgery, the reproduction.
No, just
not
to
reproduction.
it gives room for the
What's the
room for
word?
the reconstruction.
Reconstruction. Reconstruction.
Oh.
I said reproduction. It's a room for the
Yeah,
reconstruction. Yeah. Okay. So then I looked into other ways. Then I went to another surgeon who did my breasts, who was phenomenal. Okay, and I'm going to say her name, Stephanie Cohen, Dr. Stephanie Cohen. She was just amazing, the best of the best. Okay, I mean, not only surgeon-wise, but personality-wise, bed manner, just everything makes you feel comfortable. Just fantastic. So anyway, she was fantastic, and she gave me options. She said you can either get implants in, or we can take your stomach and make them into breasts. So now my wheels are turning. This whole thing started with me wanting a tummy tuck.
And you're going to get what you want now.
58 years old, I got a body like Cher.
It's true.
I went from B plus boobs to a D, okay? Perfect round D's, okay?
Wow.
D
Okay.
for delightful. And I have no stomach anymore. It's completely flat. Okay, so now I can actually wear bikini tops. I could get a belly button wing right now. That's how flat my stomach is. It's amazing. It's amazing. 58, I have a completely new body. I went to the Bahamas with my friends in April, and I had bikini top on with board shorts.
You should show a picture.
I couldn't believe it.
I will.
Erin will do that. So anyway, I stayed positive throughout my entire time going through chemo. That is the most important thing. You have to stay 100%. Positive. Okay? Mm-hmm. Have to stay positive. And the mindset going through something like that. Listen, did I have dark days? Of course I had dark days. But I kept it together, and I stayed positive. And I would come home from my treatments. I kept it positive, and I stayed home. I would come home from my treatments and usually take that day or two to relax and rest. But like if my daughter called me and said, "Mom, could I pitch to you? Could we practice pitching?" I would go. I would get out of bed and go and do it, because first of all, she's my daughter, and no matter what she asks me to do, I'm going to do
That's
it.
What moms do.
And even like after my treatment was over, my body was still recuperating, and I was climbing fences at my brother's school to get into the field so we could practice pitching and hitting.
Oh my gosh.
During my treatment, and then we had a debacle. It was literally a week after my chemo ended, and I thought I was Superwoman. Okay. And I decided to go play tennis with my kids, my two daughters, and my nephew. And I thought that I was still in high school. I thought that, I was 17 again, and that I can do this. So I went after a ball, and I fell flat on my
your stomach?
Flat on, yeah. I don't know. I rolled. They imitate me, and it looks like I rolled. I don't know, but I was out cold. Okay. No, I wasn't. I didn't go out. No. I just was on the floor, and I felt like I was out cold. My eyes were closed. Well, I woke up and I saw the sky, this blue sky. I thought I was in heaven. Okay. But then I saw two strange men, and I realized I am not in heaven. God would not wake me up in heaven to two men. He would not wake a lesbian up in heaven to two men. So I realized that I was still alive.
Were they police?
No, they were two guys playing on the next court. So they came and helped me up. It ended up I had some contusions in my ribs. I couldn't. Then I had to make my daughter drive home. She had no permit at the time. I'm like, I can't drive. And I'm in the back seat with my nephew, and he's like, "Auntie, are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh, my ribs, I don't know. I thought I was going to have a panic attack." My daughter's driving. I'm like, "Listen, you're too close to the road. You're too close to the car." So then my mother realized that she was by the window, and she realized when we pulled in the driveway, and she saw my kids in the front seat, and I was nowhere to be found, that something was wrong. Yeah. So I had some debacles, but I didn't stop life. Is what I'm trying to say. I didn't stop living.
You can't.
I kept going. Yeah. I kept, my personality stayed the same. I stayed positive. Like my friends would say, you would never know that you were going through chemo, except for the fact that you don't have hair. Yeah. And like I embraced that. Like, at the beginning I would put things on, and I'm like, frig this, man. Really kind of more. Throw it in the air. Okay? I'm like, you know what? I got a good head. And I would go into my doctor, every doctor I would go to, they said, you got a good head. I'm like, you know what? Thanks. That's why I'm exposing
That's
it.
hysterical.